Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Rational Rage podcast. And I got to tell you guys, I am besides myself. I am extremely excited to be doing this. I never thought I'd be getting the love and support that so many people are showing me. I listen to you guys. You guys want the longer shows. You guys want guests. So we're going to be doing that going forward. Speaking of guests, I got a guy here who is officially NFO for life.
For life.
For life. That's right. And for those of you who are new and don't know what I'm talking about, check out the New Force Order podcast. Okay. But I got a guy here from north of the border, Canada to be exact. Timbo G Slice himself, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tim Gilby. What's up, brother?
Not too much Spiro yourself. How's it going up or down there?
Well, man, I'm just, I'm just doing whatever it takes, man, to remain sane in these insane times, man, So what's the deal up in Canada, man, as far as COVID and everything else going on now? Because I'll tell you, man, if it ain't COVID, if it ain't riots, if it's not the zombie apocalypse, what's going to do us in, brother?
Well, yeah, I'm still waiting on that zombie apocalypse. I'm ready for that one too. But up here in Canada, basically the COVID, we're not getting as many cases as we were. We're averaging about 200 people per day still coming down with it in all of Ontario. And I can't remember what the population is in Ontario, but it's a good couple million anyways. So our worst day was a few days ago. We had 209 new confirmed cases out of 28,000 tests. Which isn't too bad, but our average is right about 200. Up in Ontario, they're opening our province up in stages, but we're actually cordoned off into like 6 separate territories. So the premier of Ontario, he basically, different zones can, go on to certain stages and stuff. So where I'm living right now, we're sitting at stage 2 where you can go to the grocery store, no problem. There is lineups. They got the arrow system, keeping you in line like, cattle. Restaurants are allowed to be open now for patio use only. You can go into a restaurant to pick up for, takeout food. Drive-thrus are all open. They actually opened up the shopping malls, but they're only limiting like 25% occupancy compared to what they can normally have in there. Like earlier when I was in Canadian Tire, they're only allowing 20 people in the store, and it's a pretty big store, which is good. I don't mind being extra safe. Do I think they're overdoing it a bit? Me and my brain set? No, they're not. But am I wearing a mask? No, because I have a big beard and I'm not shaving it off. I've done all the proper testing and all the knowledge on mask wearing and all that stuff. And with this beard, wearing a mask isn't going to do jack shit for me anyway. So
I know, man. That was actually one of the guidelines. They said if you have a full beard, shave it. But I fucking trimmed mine. Here in New York, we're actually in phase 3. So people are actually allowed to go and sit in the diners and all that to eat and everything. Before we actually started this, we were talking and you were telling me about a process that you have. And I think it's awesome, man, because, there's a lot of people out there that still think that this whole COVID thing is a fucking hoax. I want you to share that.
Well, basically anything that comes in the mail or from Amazon, we have a back room in the house and we wear a pair of gloves. We bring it into that room and we don't touch it for 48 hours. If it's something that we really need, like right away, like we had a diaper scare. Baby food, diapers up here for the last few months, it's finally starting to calm down. It wasn't a big issue for me because when I found some, I hate to say it, but I hoarded it a little bit. But, as you know, I have the little baby, right? So if it was anything we need, wear gloves, cut it open, take it out, spray everything down with 50-50 vinegar water. The other thing I do too is when I go grocery shopping, I quarantine stuff in that same room for a day or two because it takes time, the stuff actually dies off. But anything that I need to put in my fridge right away, perishable items, I lay paper towels out on my kitchen table, vinegar water, spray everything down, let it sit 3 to 5 minutes, dry it all off with paper towels and stuff because it's a fat-based protein virus. So stuff like dish soaps and vinegars and stuff like that.
See,
I'm concerned from what I've heard.
I didn't know that, but, listen, man, to be honest, I wasn't really paying too much attention to the things. My wife was way better than I was as far as handling things, as far as quarantining and all that stuff. She wears a mask. Over here, man, I wear a mask, not so much for myself, but so that other people don't start to like freak out. I mean, I don't know, man. I hear a lot of conflicting things whenever I see something on social media, and that's probably the last place anybody should go for any advice. But if I get anything, 9 times out of 10, I might text Doc, ask him, hey, man, is this shit like real? Is this good? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? But I don't know, man. Yeah, brother. I mean, you're doing it right, man. You want to be safe. You got a new baby home. I'm expecting one too. So,
congratulations once again.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. So yeah, man, it's going to be my fourth,
We're technically up to 7, but we have 6 here because I had a son. He's 21 years old now.
Okay.
And when I got with my wife, she had a son and daughter.
Oh, wow.
And then her and I had 4 more on top of that.
Nice.
But unfortunately, due to some mental health issues, our one son had to go live with his paternal father.
Oh, okay.
He has Tourette's, ADHD, line 13 genetic chromosome. He was just getting really violent, and it was unsafe for the smaller children because he was getting physically violent.
Yeah.
So we miss him every day. We talk to him on the phone when we can and stuff. So we technically have 7, but we have 6 living here.
I got you, man. Look, man, I got 2 boys who live all the way on the West Coast, and, it's rough, man. It sucks, man. One of them is actually 23. Other one is 18, man, and I miss them, bro. I wish they lived here in New York with me, but unfortunately they don't. I call and text them all the time. It sucks, man, but anyways, man, obviously there's been a spike in cases, man. And everybody is talking about that we may have, here in the country, in the States, we may have reopened too soon, but nobody in the media is really talking about how before we actually reopened, how people were out there protesting and how people were rioting. Now, I saw today on social media, there's a guy that I want to have come on here, is a guy that I respect a lot, that I consider him intelligent. 9 times out of 10, I agree with him. And he made a post about how the protest did not contribute in any way. What do you think about that, man? Because in my opinion, it definitely did.
Up here, we had a fair bit of protests. Ours didn't turn out mostly like how your guys did. It seems like the United States, when they jump in, they go balls deep, and that's when it turns into riots. So we've been lucky we haven't had any of that. We actually had a protester get killed by a transport truck the other day, but that was a person protesting a pig processing plant, and the dumb chick ran up beside the pig truck with a bottle of water trying to feed water to the pig who was entering the facility as the transport truck was turning, and she got caught and pulled underneath the tires. But anyway, that's the sidebar. I would agree with that because just the way the number charts. So I've been following this since way at the beginning. I'm not going to give away any of my people that I deal with, but I deal with people who were in military with intelligence and stuff. So I've been on the ball on to knowing what was happening with all this since the end of December. And on average, the average carrier was infecting 14 people. So if you took those 14 people and times them by 14 people, that's the exponential rate that it was growing at first. Now, people knowing a little bit more are probably, even though they are protesting, they're probably not, right up each other's asses like they were before. Like, especially up here in Canada, like there was a protest in Niagara Falls, and it was kind of funny because it was so spread out. You had a few groups of 10, 20 clusters and stuff, but people were actually up here pretty far apart. So they are a little bit smarter than they should be, but it obviously just mathematically would add to the increase.
Well, they're way smarter than they are here. I'll tell you that, because here, man, Jesus Christ, it's a big clusterfuck, man.
But as far as the riders and people blocking vehicles, I hate to say it, and it might sound criminal, but I wouldn't stop. I'm 44 years old, and I remember what happened in Los Angeles in 1992, was it? Rodney King stuff.
Yeah,
And, people getting pulled out of cars and
exactly.
beaten up and all
it's
that.
happening right now. It's still happening right now during these riots. Listen, man, I'm all for protesting, okay? The Black Lives Matter, the statement, I fully support it. What I don't support is, I don't want to say I don't support the movement because, I fucking do. But what I don't support is, you got people, and this is just like every other movement. You got people, you got criminals, you got thugs. And I'm not saying that Black Lives Matter is a criminal organization. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you got thugs and criminals who are hijacking the movement and are committing crimes in the name of Black Lives Matter. And I haven't seen anybody address that.
Well, you have a certain mindset of certain people that are sort of, I don't know, thug mindset that they just look for an excuse to be able to wild out, So
Absolutely.
When something like this happens, it's just boom. They got their excuse. They got the reason. It could have been anything, not even necessarily Black Lives Matters stuff. They're just like sitting there waiting for some shit to hit the fans so they can go and do what they want to do.
Yeah, bro. Hey, man, every now and then there's a grave injustice committed and shit hits the fan. And this is the moment that these certain people wait for, and they come out from under their fucking rocks and they start smashing windows, flipping cars over, beating down people. Listen, man, and I'm not speaking about Black Lives Matter, but how many of these people are really doing this for George Floyd? Okay. It's not even about him anymore, man. Okay. A lot of these businesses, and of course, a friend of ours, Homeboy 88. Matter of fact, we were on his show together when he asked me, doesn't insurance cover them? He was trying to say, is it really worth taking a life to protect the property? And I said to him, look, you know what, man? Yeah, okay, insurance. But think about the people who are employed by these businesses. Okay, they probably weren't making much money in the first place, and now they're out of a job. They haven't worked in however long the lockdown was, and then they were getting ready to reopen, expecting to go back to work. And a lot of these businesses that have been destroyed, now these people are totally out of a fucking job, and the economy's bad now. It fucking sucks. And a lot of these businesses are Black owned, minority owned.
You got to think of insurance premiums going up too. Like if you have a business and, $100,000 worth of damage happens, you have your deductible, which for a business could be anywhere 10, 15, 20 grand to begin with before they'll even kick in. And then after that, your insurance premiums will go up. And some people, if they have like one or two claims, then all of a sudden they've lost their insurance, and then you're trying to hunt for new insurance. So yeah, in the bigger picture, I guess insurance companies will pay for stuff, but you're not going to ever get back what you lost. Plus, there's also the thing too, like if you're a person, if you ever open your own store, just the art of building the store, and it's like sort of like a kid, and then you have somebody come in and like you have your store set your way, and then somebody comes into your store and just trashes it like it's dirt, there's a mental thing too. It's not all about money either, right? So, it was your dream, your thing to start a business, and then somebody just crashes it on you. It's just, I don't know. It's just like a dude's car. You don't fuck with a dude's car. It's its baby.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And people with their businesses. And I don't support the rioting. I do support protest. There's a time and place for it. I was a union worker for many years, and we had to go on strike and protest and, try to get our rights and, whatevers and stuff like that. And I see that, being the same kind of thing. But it has gotten away from the George Floyd a little bit, I do believe, and just sort of turned into its own snowball effect.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Look, man, everybody's got a right to voice their concerns, their opinions. Everybody should have a fucking voice, bro. I'm all for that. But again, man, it's getting out of hand as far as the rioting. And now it seems like the rioting has scaled down some, but there's a lot of personal attacks going on around. And, a lot of people are Black Lives Matter, they knock a dude out, Black Lives Matter. And you want to know who I'm seeing, though, committing most of these fucking attacks? white
Dumbass
people,
little white people.
white people, bro. It's like, what?
We gotta prove we love black people so much. We're gonna break the law just to prove it.
Yeah, listen, man. They love white people. So I mean, I'm sorry. They love black people so much that if they see a black guy out there not engaging in the same manner they are, they waste no time in calling him out, man, and questioning his blackness. The biggest one, bro, presidential candidate Joe Biden, bro. What was that shit about, man? I mean,
I don't know too much about that politics down there. I listen to the Voices of Misery podcast, and he talks about some of that stuff sometimes.
Great show, man. Great fucking show.
Yeah, I don't know too much about that, but I do know a lot of the problems that we're having down there with the riots and stuff like that. A lot has to do with the Antifa people too, right? Well, they got involved in this stuff.
It's a fucking circus, brother. It's a fucking circus. Yeah, you got Antifa now. You got the Boogaloos. You know, oh man, dude. You know
who are the people that have taken over Seattle?
I don't know. You know what, man? I don't know if that's any specific group. You know, I just think it's a bunch of fucking stupid liberals. And listen, okay, man, you could be a lefty, you could be a righty, you could be a liberal, you could be a conservative, but you gotta fucking be rational and open-minded and have some common sense, man. You know what I'm saying?
You need to express your rational rage.
Yeah, you know what, man? It fucking angers me, man. And that's why I called this show Rational Rage, because I don't understand how somebody can be so far left and so far right and not see how fucking selfish that is, because it's not about what's best for the people. You know, at that point, it's not.
Do you know much about Antifa's history?
Bro, I'll be honest, man. I don't know much about them. All I know is that they're an extreme left group, and they fancy themselves, I don't know, freedom fighters, and they think that they're fighting for the people. And again, all I see are white fucking faces, man.
Well, Antifa started out in the 90s.
Classes in session.
They originally were.
Hell yeah.
Back in the 90s, you had skinheads.
Right.
Back in the 90s, you had sharp skinheads against racial people. They were considered communist anarchists. That whole sharp skinhead movement is what turned into a modern Antifa movement today.
Really?
Yeah, that's just a simple history of it, basically. But they were communist anarchists, which are two sort of things that sort of fight against each other automatically, but they're the guys that, like, back in the 90s had the big anarchy symbol spray painted on the
right. Oh, okay.
So that formed into Antifa. So Antifa traditionally wasn't even had black people in it. It was a bunch of sharp skinheads, communist anarchists, and they just wanted to raise some shit. Simple.
And they're doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Bro,
one of their main figureheads is black now too, though. But
oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's a big guy. He's been in a few documentaries and stuff because I watch everything and I follow all that stuff.
I need to look that up. But it always seems to me, man, at the heart of every fucking issue, of every fucking problem, is some self-loathing white liberal that'll say the dumbest shit and do the dumbest shit to fucking prove to black people that they're nothing like their ancestors, man. It's like, dude, we get it. You're not racist, okay? I mean, just don't be a piece of shit. Just don't, fuck. It's like they expect the medal and shit,
Overcompensating.
Oh, thank you. That's exactly it.
For it. It's like if you're one of your friends is in a wheelchair and you always got to make sure you hold the door open for him. And he's like, get the fuck out of my way. I just do it my way. Overcompensation.
Exactly. No, dude, it's so sad, man. But I'll tell you this, man. I love Canada, brother. I love Canada. If I were to move, Canada would definitely be one of the places I would go to live. I've been to both the east side, the west side. I've been to Windsor. I've been to Montreal, a few other places. And then I've been to Vancouver, to Victoria. Love it, man.
Unfortunately, other than traveling in Ontario, and that's an actually pretty big province, I haven't been too far away. I've never made it out west, and I've never made it out east yet. I've got cousins out west in BC and stuff like that, and then I got family all the way out in like Newfoundland and stuff. So one of these days, every time I go start getting ready to do that stuff, my first son from my first wife was getting older and everything, and then I met my current wife, and then everything changes back to, you know, having babies and everything like that again, right? So
that'll do it,
just
bro.
the logistics of trying to take, you know, so many people on a road trip, I'd have to buy a Partridge Family bus.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, I quit buying 2-door cars, bro. Straight up, man.
I drive a full-size Ford XLT 8-passenger van.
Nice.
And I wish I still had room for more seating.
Yeah, man. So what's, you know, I love Canada, but I'm not a big fan of your what do you call him there?
The Prime Minister?
The Prime Minister, yeah, man. That guy, dude.
Yeah, Justin Trudeau. I can't say too much on him. He's a bit of a clown show with his costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
Certain sectors of Canadians, he's actually done good stuff for them. He's another person who overcompensates with giving too much money away to foreign aids and allowing, I'm not anti-immigration, I'm not, you know, anything like that, but there comes a point where we're kind of full, you know, like only let 2 million in a year instead of 4 million or something, you know, because he keeps raising the bar on that. And it's for a reason, because your country has to grow so many percentage points every year. And the traditional white population in Canada doesn't have as many babies as they used to. So in order for our population to grow at the rate that we have to, we actually have to keep bringing in foreigners and stuff like that too. So, but a lot of people are just, we're thinking that we need to start looking out for our own country first before we're giving away and taking in too many problems. Like all those Syrian refugees and stuff, there was actually a lot of people that were protesting over that too, but you didn't see too much of it on the news because we don't usually throw bricks through windows when we're protesting up here.
Bless you people, man. I mean, you know, and that's due to one thing, bro. That's due to one thing. That's due to Americans. Well, two things. The average American's a dumb motherfucker, bro. Dumb as shit. Okay. He'll believe everything that pops up on the TV, on his social media feed. And the other thing is we're fucking spoiled here, bro. We're fucking like spoiled fucking children. Okay. We got so much shit, whether it's content, whether it's movie theaters, malls, fucking nail salons, fucking clubs, fucking this, that, and the other thing. We're so spoiled, man. And if you take something away from us, we're automatically like, you know, and then, you know, of course, the go-to argument, oh, you took it away because you're fucking fascist or you're fucking racist. It's like, yo, man, just shut the fuck up. I'll tell you this, man. There's one thing that I don't want any politician to fuck with, brother, and that's my fucking guns, man. What are the laws like there in Canada?
You have to jump through a lot of hoops to get a gun up here. And then there's 3 different classes of gun ownership. You have your basic firearms course you have to take with your hunting license. And you can own like a, you know, a 12-gauge shotgun, whatever, for ducks or whatever. Then you can also own like rifles and stuff like that. But then if you want handguns, you have to take a restricted weapon course. And then you have to get that license, and then you have to apply for it once you got it. And then you have to get all these like signatures from outstanding members of society, like if you're a doctor or whatever and stuff like that, you know, to make sure that you're a real person and you don't think that you're going to become whatever and stuff. And then you have the prohibited, which they've been limiting a lot. My dad was prohibited for a long time. He had a few guns that whatever and stuff. But then we also have clip size, maximum clip size. I do believe that, like if you have a rifle or whatever, you're only allowed to have like 3 rounds in the
What?
3? Yeah, I think it was 5 and then it went down to 3. There's been a lot happening over the last 2 months. We actually had a list of like 12,000 firearms and firearms related things banned about a month and a half ago. And until we actually see the lists, you know, I don't want to speculate or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, like you're only allowed to have so many bullets in the gun at once. And they restricted basically anything that looks tactical.
Oh, man.
And there's actually a few things on the list that are redundant. Yeah.
The whole list is, man. If it's anything like here in New York, then I know and I feel your fucking pain, bro. Because I'll tell you, man, they've pretty much rendered the AR-15 about as useless. Well, you know, I'm exaggerating, but you might as well just buy a fucking musket, bro. Okay. I mean, really, you know, you can have a detachable magazine, and I think the max capacity I think it's 5. I could be wrong. You can't have a telescopic stock, Meanwhile, a telescopic stock, well, it's scary, it's, what the purpose of a telescopic fucking stock is? And I'm going to tell everybody out there now, it's for transportation. It's so that you can put it in a smaller range bag, or, you put it somewhere and it's not taking up that much space. Okay. I mean, there's so much stupid shit that don't even make the weapon more effective, and it's banned because it looks fucking scary. It's fucking scary. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, they pulled that stuff a few years back on us up here too. I'm not a registered gun owner. My dad is.
Right.
My dad was one of the founding members of the Ontario Rifle Association or something like that. Happened probably around 1989 when all this new stuff was starting. They started this association, and he doesn't take part in much of it anymore, but he's still got his friends that are like, second in the board and all that stuff. But my dad's friends used to have some pretty illustrious gun collections. Like the one gun that actually physically got taken away was, I believe it was called a broom-handled Mauser.
Mauser, wow.
Basically,
German gun, right?
Yeah, it was a German gun. You had the stock. The back of the stock came out. You pulled the gun out, locked it into the stock, and then you're ready to go.
Beautiful.
It got melted down with a torch.
Oh, Jesus. And a Mauser, bro. Mauser is one of the old-time greats in firearms manufacturing. I'll tell you, man, I personally, listen, I support American-made guns, but dude, I fucking love my fucking Swiss guns and my German guns, my Austrian guns. I think it's from, where's it from? Spain? The Galil. See, man, dude, it's been so many years, and I got out of the service in 2005, and I've been back in New York since like 2006, maybe. Mm-hmm. So obviously, my access to weapons has been greatly reduced.
That's what I don't understand either, though, because in Canada, it's basically a Canada-wide thing. That's your country. What we find weird about it is it's broken up into like 52 separate countries with separate rules. Like we do have different tax levels and provinces and stuff.
Right.
But basically, like our gun laws is like all of Canada. Like, I don't know. Your country seems naturally divided even before weird situations happen.
Oh, listen, brother. This country has always been divided. We tend to come together for about like 5 minutes whenever there's a fucking great disaster or a great terrorist attack. Everybody's like, oh, I love everybody,
9/11,
exactly.
Oklahoma City bombing, stuff like that.
But then as time passes, it's like, oh, well, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. And, hey, fuck black people, fuck white people, fuck fucking brown people and yellow. Man, it's like we always fall back to that shit. And you're right. It does feel like it's 52 different fucking countries, man. I mean, listen, man, the one thing that I like about it is that it gives me options. It gives me options. I've been around the fucking world. I've experienced so many cultures and languages and people, man, that it's given me a greater appreciation for, human life, man,
Yeah, absolutely.
We got so many issues, man, that we really need to worry about, that I think we're wasting our time on some ridiculous shit, man.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But if I was to pick a place to move to in the United States, it would be Alaska.
Alaska's great, man. Alaska's great. Been there one time. And it's awesome, man. And if you like to fucking hunt and all that shit, there's a lot there to do there,
Yeah, I'm in the Niagara region. We don't have very many hunting places left here. Most of the time when my friends go hunting for moose and bear, they have to drive for 8 hours up north in Ontario.
8 hours, wow.
Yeah, minimum 8 hours. You can hunt for deer around here, but you have to have permission to be on certain people's properties and stuff, because basically we've given away all of our crown land. And It's been getting built up in my area. Like when I grew up in my city, I grew up in this neighborhood. It was called Secord Woods, and it was called Secord Woods because there was actually woods. But by the time I was 18 and I moved to a different city, there was like no woods left. Every little hiking path that me and my buddies used to ride our bikes through, hunt, and little squirrels and shit with our pellet guns, and play army soldiers, when we were little kids and blow shit up. It was all gone. All houses, all apartments. It's just crazy. Anywhere where you could go in the outdoors is basically blocked off. And then a lot of our fishing spots in the area around here in the Niagara region, they've been bought out by the Hydro Commission. So anywhere where we would go fishing before, they have these signs up that say no trespass.
Really? Wow, man. I'll tell you, what, listen, man, I'm a New York City guy, and a buddy of mine who also lives here. I'm out here in Long Island. I was born and raised in Queens. I lived in Brooklyn and some other parts. But like he says to me, if it wasn't for Long Island, I don't think I could stay here in New York. It's gotten to the point where I'm just over it. I'm over the fucking people. Everybody's so high strung, man. Everybody's always, it's like, dude, it's like, and then we wonder why so many out-of-state people don't like us, man. It's like, yo, you got this attitude for no fucking reason, and we're proud of it.
It's like Torontonians in Ontario.
Really? Same shit there?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, dude,
but a lot of them have been migrating down to our area because to buy a house in Toronto, you're looking at like $1 million.
What?
To buy a house down here in that region, you used to be a few years back around $250, you get a nice looking house down here, but now it's starting to go up. Like my brother bought his house last year, it was like $450. But the same house, if it was in the Toronto area, would probably be $1.25 million. Jesus,
man. Yeah. And you know what? Again, the same thing here, man. If you get a house like the one I'm in now, if you get it in like Queens, man, it's going to cost you a fucking $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it's by zip code and whatever, man. But it's like you pay so much in taxes, but you're not always getting your money's worth.
No, no, definitely not. We pay our taxes, obviously. We own our own house. We pay our taxes, property taxes every year, and it's supposed to go towards stuff. But like we keep having problems with our sewer connection out where it meets from the house to the road and stuff. And a lot of our neighbors do too. But instead of going through and fixing the whole street, all of a sudden you'll be coming home from somewhere and there's a big hole. That part of the road's blocked off just because they call and complain. Like they should just do it all once, do it all right, shut it all down for a week or two, fix everybody's problems, but they don't.
I don't know. You know what? I have a theory about that, but I'm basing it off of what I see here. I think it's all a fucking scam, dude. Okay? I think you got these big companies who are owned by somebody, some bigwig New Yorker, and they make certain donations so that they can keep getting these fucking city contracts. And these contracts, bro, they've been fixing like the same highway for like the past, well, I'm 46 and I think they've been fixing it for the past 46 years, bro. It never ends. It never fucking ends. It's like the construction never ends. And it's the same shit, the same area, the same, it's like, what the fuck, man?
We have this highway here that connects off of the QEW to bring you like south in the region here where I am. It's called the 406, and it's under a virtual state of consistent construction. And we know it's a scam. And the company that does it, they're Rankin's Construction. They've been around this area for years. It used to be called Stevens and Rankins, but even Stevens bailed out on his partnership on Rankins because Rankin was just too much of a POS. And then we have the other big family. It's called the Walker family, and they run our municipal dumps and a lot of the properties and stuff like that. And they're all in people's back pockets. It's like the cousin of the certain person and blah, 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 blah. And like, it's just $1 million a kilometer, I think they're charging to fix the highway, and it's like just under virtual, like we had the Special Olympics here a few years ago. They had a deadline to get the 406 done before this Olympics came to the area. The week before, they just pulled all the construction work off, said, yeah, we're done. So everybody's like, oh, hell yeah, finally, the 406 is not a problem anymore. A week after everybody left, all the athletes and stuff left, because we have some pretty big rowing areas here. Boom. Construction again. And you never know. You're going to leave to come from my city Welland to get into St. Catharines where all the bigger shopping malls are and stuff. All of a sudden you're going down the highway. You didn't even know there was going to be construction there. And the next 3 exits are blocked off. So then you're having to bypass, go all the way through, come back. This is just a nightmare.
It never ends, bro.
It never ends.
Oh, man, it never ends. But it's so funny because, back in the 90s, I mean, it wasn't 100% eradicated. It's fucking still around. But, Giuliani brought down the mob here in New York. Big time. But, bro, the government is the biggest mafia, bro. The biggest mob, man. They're the worst gangsters, bro. They really are.
Career politicians, they're the worst thing for politics.
Yep.
But have to be careful what we say up in this country here, because we can get our pee-pee slapped if we talk too badly about the government up here anymore.
That's right. And you know what, man? Something I wanted to ask you about. From the things that I've read and I've heard on other podcasts, you guys have somebody policing up comics?
Well, it's the Canadian Standards of Broadcasting Association.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and everything's heavily monitored, very heavily monitored, actually.
I don't get it, man. Comedy, man. It's like, how do you go after comedy, man? Comedy, to me, comedy works best because, it's an exaggerated version of the fucking truth,
It's just been a change in life since the 90s. The 90s... Just like Bin Hameen said, it seems to be the best time for creativity and just for everything. And then it just started going downhill from there. And it's just one thing on top of another. And just everything's changed. Nothing's the same. I wish I could have a time machine, go back to the 80s just so I could relive into the 90s when stuff actually didn't seem like a downer all the time. Like these 2020s is like the worst shit time ever.
It is. It is the fucking worst times, man. Everybody's so fucking sensitive, man. Everything's offensive. It seems like everybody's been guilted into feeling guilty about something that they didn't do, and then they feel so fucking guilty and they're scared and they have to morally posture, and it's fucking annoying, dude. It makes me sick, man.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it's like we're in our 40s. We're a little bit less cancel culture than most, I think, our generation, but the generation beneath us, I think that a lot of us, I don't know what had happened to them that made them such. I'm going to probably catch flack and you're going to get the boot. I think that most these dudes these days are pussies.
Oh, well, you know what, bro? I mean, that's just a fact, bro. Look, right? You got the media trying to push a fucking agenda. They obviously want to keep white people and black people at fucking war.
Yep.
Okay, because,
agenda on its own, racism.
Exactly. When you look at the world is only seen as black and white. Nobody cares about yellow, brown, red, or whoever the fuck, okay? Unless it's fucking, election year. Then people care about brown because immigration, everybody loves to bring that shit up during election year. But guess what? Immigration is something that doesn't just affect brown people, man. It affects yellow, white even, you know what I'm saying? It's
absolutely.
But automatically it has to be about brown people. And then you got these teachers in high school and colleges are the worst, man, okay? And they're protesting and they're talking about shit and their politics make no fucking sense. And they have this weird revisionist fucking history. It's like, what are you people learning in school? Oh, they don't teach you enough about the black plight. Well, listen, I graduated school a long time ago. When I was growing up, and I'm talking about from like the first grade on to high school and all that, they taught us about the civil rights movement and slavery and all this and that. You cannot teach American history without talking about that. If that's something they're not doing now, then they need to re-examine what's being taught,
Well, if we ever revisit and do another episode with me on there, we can do a whole episode just on that stuff and racism and stuff. Because
that would be great.
I have a few different perspectives on the whole situation.
That would be great, man. Definitely.
Going from where I grew up to being in a mixed race family situation now, it's
same here.
It's been every end of the spectrum and seen all the bullshit in the middle, and you know how much of just racism just fucking retarded. I'm sorry. I've got no other words for it. It's just fucking retarded. And it's created just a divide. And I know that firsthand.
You know what?
I'll leave it there.
Yeah, a lot of people, they forget slaves. There've been slaves of all colors who were sold to the traders by their own people. I'm
half Irish, and some of the first slaves that came to this country were Irish slaves.
There you go.
Where's my fucking reparations?
Yeah, exactly, man. Let me tell you something, man. All right. I'm fucking half Greek, bro. Man, Greeks know a little thing about, being slaves. Sex. They know a lot about that, But
sorry, man.
Hey, man, facts, brother. Anyways, but, we know something about being slaves for 400 years. Okay. Not only that, not only to the Ottomans, but also to the Romans. We've had the Nazis invade Greece and take our people to fucking camps to, so when somebody comes and they tell me, oh, you don't understand. I'm like, well, listen, man, just because they don't teach you Greek history in the school doesn't mean it's not real. And second of all, my other half, I am Puerto Rican. Okay. And NYPD, next in line after blacks is the Puerto Ricans, bro. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Love to fuck with us. Okay. And I've been fucked with many, many times. Okay, so don't tell me that I don't know a thing or fucking two about this shit, okay? But anyways, man, I don't want to make this about me.
No, I understand completely. I grew up in a family where I was raised by my grandparents because my mom and dad were quite young when I was conceived and stuff like that. And they were just too young. Like my mom was 17, my dad was 18 or something like that, right? So, but I grew up with my uncles and aunts, more like brothers and sisters. But, my family were treated pretty badly by the police in our area because my one uncle was like a pot dealer and, that, and the other thing and stuff like that. So we used to have the cops around a lot, and I actually had witnessed many of my family members getting beat by cops. And I remember my dad got arrested for something that wasn't even his fault. And my grandmother would have to say, please don't beat my son up tonight. Like, we had a lot of bad cops around here, and my family wasn't perfect, but they got a lot of beatings from the police, and most of it wasn't deserved. So my dad, when he got arrested when I was a kid, he had a van that was at Midas Muffler getting exhaust repaired. It got stolen overnight. When he reported it, they entered the plate number wrong. So the people that stole this van, they were driving and smashing into pharmacies and then clearing out all the drugs and taking off. So somebody got the license plate number. They called in the license plate number and it came up as my dad's license plate. So all these fucking cops all showed up at our house, dragging my dad out. My grandmother's like, please don't beat him. He didn't do nothing wrong. I've experienced it.
Yeah, you know what? But you see, bro.
White.
Yeah, exactly. The media doesn't talk about that, it's like they do it on purpose. But not everybody is fucking stupid, man. There's a lot of people that see it for what it is. Unfortunately, there's not enough of us fucking spread out there to actually educate the average asshole here, okay? You do stuff on YouTube, right?
Currently I started a new page. I have a fictional character called E-Bike Mike.
Right, yeah.
And I make, basically it's a parody of like a Sons of Anarchy meets Trailer Park Boys kind of thing.
I love it, man. The bike's awesome.
Yeah, with the ape hangers and everything. Yeah. I just built a trailer for it today, so I have my 6 episodes that are out from last year, and I actually have way more planned for this season 2, but due to the COVID, everything's just been on lockdown. So I don't actually write scripts. I just basically take a sheet of paper and I write down all the story ideas and stuff, and I actually just ad-lib everything that I say, and then if somebody else is in the scene, it'd be like, my brother or my dad, okay, this is what we got to say. Just talk to me like you would normally talk to me or whatever. And then I put on a little bit of the accent and I swear a lot more and stuff because I'm the opposite of E-Bike Mike. Like, I have kids, I own a house, I have a life.
That's awesome, man. I fucking love it, man.
The YouTube channel hasn't taken off too good, but through our one Facebook group that I'm a member of called Well and Means, I've got over 150,000 views.
Nice, bro. You know what, man? Dude, I'm still trying to figure this shit out. A lot of people are telling me that YouTube is kind of on the way out. Everybody's going to Twitch now and shit, and I don't know.
Yeah, Twitch streaming that's like where I watch the Conspiracy Horsemen and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Because back, everybody talks about the adpocalypse that's happened over the last 2 years. This isn't the first adpocalypse. The first adpocalypse was about 10 years ago. And back then, remember that show Doomsday Preppers?
Yeah.
Well, back in the days, pretty much when that show came out, there used to be a big prepper movement on YouTube. And they would do live chats, sort of like what we're doing right now, but it would be like a few of the people that were on the show. One of the main guys was David Sardi, and he was in the first season of Doomsday Preppers. He was the big fat guy. He's running around. It looks like his bulletproof vest too small for his big gut and stuff. But he had the biggest prepper channel on all of YouTube. The Boston bombing happened. Right after that is when they started cracking down on gun nuts, and they automatically tied gun nuts in with preppers.
Oh, Jesus.
So then that's when the first apocalypse actually happened. A lot of people back then had all their channels that they were, they're not making it rich or anything, but you get a couple $100, it helps out. They basically demonetized everybody, and it was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. They had a few people that were swatted. This one guy, he had Arizona. I can't remember his name, but he owns a business where he reloads brass, bullets. He basically has the machines and he reloads. He takes everybody, sends in their used brass. He cleans it, reprimes it, does all the stuff that he has to do to it. And he would broadcast it. And he actually said something. I'm not going to repeat what actually got said or anything like that, but there was a big chat and he actually got swatted right on YouTube. And a whole bunch of people that were involved in this one conversation with David Sardi and this other guy with the brass processing thing, they all lost their guns and they got demonetized. And then a few of them made new channels and stuff, but they could never do anything. Back then, I had the #1 video in Canada for knife laws in Canada and what different knives were and budget knives versus expensive knives. And
yeah, man, this whole swatting thing, man, it seemed to be something akin to the whole these stupid challenges. It's like people just started calling in cops and shit and sending them to people's homes just for a fucking laugh, or maybe they don't like that fucking person and they did it to get at them for some reason. It's fucking crazy, man, because people have lost their fucking lives, man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And their livelihood.
Yeah. Exactly, man. But, man, another thing, too, is this whole censorship thing. It's like, I don't get it, man. It's like, I don't know about there, but here in America, our constitutional rights are fucking infringed on a daily fucking basis, man. Whether it's our right to bear arms or freedom of speech. And I'm like this, man. I'm like, freedom of speech should be for everybody or for nobody. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're black, white, if you're white supremacist, if you're black supremacist, whatever, man. It's up to me to not watch your shit if I don't want to. It shouldn't be up to fucking, listen. I could just fucking go click on something else, or I can change the channel. It's like they're fucking fact checking people's opinions now. Well,
the problem that people are having is with the freedom of speech and stuff like that. It is part of your, constitution and stuff. But the problem is, unless you're standing on your own shine box on your own front yard, people like Google, people like Facebook, they get to dictate to you what you're allowed to say.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's the big problem. They push their agenda on you by not allowing you to say your stuff. You can say whatever you want on your front yard, but you can't say it online because they don't like it. That's the big.
Yeah, it's like
Facebook won't even let you give in Canada right now. If you post a used vehicle on the Facebook Marketplace, they try to dictate to you how much you're allowed to sell your vehicle for.
I've seen that. Yes. I've seen that. It's like, yo, asshole, who the fuck are you? Yo, fucking, and this motherfucker, Zuckerberg, man, how many times has he gone out to fucking, to Congress now, man? He had to go testify on all this shit that he's doing. And it's like, I don't know how this motherfucker is not in jail or not fined for like half of his money. It's like, he goes there, he makes the worst arguments. He's fucking lying about shit. He has an attitude about him like he's untouchable and shit. And it's like, and I hate that I use fucking Facebook. I hate that I rely on Facebook to promote this show. I hate it, but it's a tool that I use.
It's a required tool. They stay in contact with people. Like, seriously, if you're trying to do anything like this, or your NFO or my e-bike Mike stuff, if you're not on Facebook, you're nothing.
Yeah.
So they got you bent over a barrel. You can't fight it because, I don't know. Where are you going to go if you can't go there to post your video and hopefully get a couple thousand views?
Yeah. I mean, I know that some other people who are producing content, a lot of them, they're starting to slowly leave social media. But these are people who already have built a huge following. And what they do is they're creating websites, personal websites where people can go, fans can go and, engage and all that other stuff. They can read their news. They can watch their fucking shows and all that.
www.newforceorder.com.
Shout out to GGP and Dr. Destroyo, Alex Arroyo. But I want to have like a forum where people can go chat and, just, start groups and all that stuff. Because if you listen to our show, and you obviously do, that we're not like your average like sci-fi Star Wars show, man. There's nothing PC about that shit,
Absolutely not.
And man, most of the listeners get it. They know what it is. It's entertainment. But the way cancel culture is nowadays, man, and people are just looking for a reason to get offended so that they can point at you and cancel you out. But anyways, bro, I'm already off. Well, I'm not off of fucking Twitter, but I rarely get on there, man.
I was off Twitter for a long time. I signed back up a few months back just to help share some stuff around for some different people that I know and things. And then I reformatted my phone a few weeks ago, and I've never even bothered reinstalling the app.
I fucking hate Twitter, man. I really do. That seems to be the biggest hotbed for all the fucking social justice warriors, all the moral posturers, all the virtue signalers and shit. Oh, man.
The current whole speak out movement.
Oh, Jesus, man. You know what?
I understand that a lot of the stories are probably true, but a lot of it.
Yeah. Oh, listen. Absolutely, man. Listen, whenever there's an allegation, it should be taken very seriously, okay? They should. But let's investigate it before we automatically go and cancel out people, because what happened to the Me Too, it's like finally people started speaking out. And I mean, we've known it for years. The celebrities from Oprah to everybody, they've known what's been going on for years. Their hands are fucking dirty. But the movement got hijacked by these celebrities who were past their prime and, sort of took it over to get back into the fucking spotlight, like your Alyssa Milanos, your Rose McGowans, and
the whole Rose McGowan situation. I won't even go back and watch a couple of my favorite movies just because I don't even want to look at her face.
When you talk about Alyssa Milano, Embrace of the Vampire, there's only one scene you really care to go back to. Other than that, I mean, who fucking cares, man? Fuck her and fuck them all, man. And the thing about these fucking people is they turn on each other. If it means that it gets them ahead and they climb on that social ladder, they will turn on each other in a fucking heartbeat, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happens all the fucking time.
But the whole sexual thing, like with, producers and stuff, like it's never been a secret. Like if you go back and watch, I think it was Scream 3 or something like that. That's what the whole story was based on. The fact that the movie producer was a pervert who used to have the secret room where he would take the young ladies and bang them and stuff. Like it was never a secret.
Right. But look, you know what, man? Yeah, you have to wonder how many of the complaints are coming from men also, men and women who, thought that their careers would advance in exchange for sexual favors, and they didn't quite pan out that way, and now they're fucking bitter and mad. Now, I have to say, I'm not talking about everybody, okay? But you have to factor that in. The same way you have to factor in firearm deaths. How many of them are suicide? How many of them are homicides? What's the story behind each death before we start saying guns are bad or men are bad? I mean, come on, man. It's rational thinking, right?
Yep. Absolutely. How are you going to fight a battle if you don't know all the proof? Like, you don't have all the details. Like, you can't.
No, because nowadays the facts don't matter. Nobody cares about the fucking truth. Everybody just wants to be better than everybody else. Everybody wants to be like, look at me. I'm against racism. Suck my dick, you know? Or, hey, look at me. I'm against fucking this, or I'm anti that. And that makes me better than everybody else. Man, shut the fuck up, man. You know what, man? If you look at all these people that come out acting like they're better than everybody else, and you see what they're really like behind closed doors, and that's their business.
Yep.
That's their business. But don't come point the finger at me, because like they say, you got another 4 pointing right back at you.
How's that saying go? He who lives in a glass house should not cast stones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Took me a second there.
Look, bro, it's fucking late.
Yeah,
We're both dads.
My daughter, she's 6 months old and she's starting to get her first tooth through. So last night she woke up at 2:30 in the morning, and then again at 6 in the morning.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah, it was a rough night last night. Oh, I love it.
I know you had a bit of hardship there to deal with, emotionally challenging with the birth of your last baby, you know, and GGP, Doc and me, man, we were always thinking about you guys. And when we started seeing the photos of her and seeing her now, man, dude, it fills up our hearts, brother.
Thanks, man. Yeah, she's come a long way since December 21st.
Dude, she's a warrior, bro. She's a fighter.
Basically, for people who don't know, my wife had, what's that called? Placenta previa, where the sac's not sitting properly. And it was actually attached to her ovary as well. It was just everything wasn't where it was supposed to be. We were watching it. We literally, on the Friday, she had ultrasound and a doctor's appointment. And he said, everything's looking good. Saturday, we sit down for dinner. She gets up to grab seconds, sits down at the table. She hops up, runs to the bathroom, trail of blood behind her. We don't even know what happened. The placenta ripped away. We had to call an ambulance. Kids are screaming because there's blood everywhere. 3 ambulances here taking her out. They got her right to the hospital. She had lost a lot of blood, needed transfusions. And the baby came out, Miss Stella, at 2.4 pounds. And she had a few blood transfusions and was on all the machines and stuff. She lived in the hospital for just over 3 months. 3 months. That's basically a summary of the story without all the details, right? But it was just a scary situation. She was born really premature. My wife was bleeding like a stuck pig, and it was just, and with all the other kids here, and I'm here by myself, and he had to go to the hospital, and then the baby ended up in Toronto at the special hospital. And this was in December. We had a cold. We all got quarantined from going to the hospital.
Oh, man.
Which we've actually been told by a few people who are in the know that possibly, even though the real COVID stuff wasn't starting here till January, a lot of people are saying that the people that had these chest colds and stuff in December could have possibly been a form of COVID. I don't know, but we were like banned from going to the hospital for 3 weeks. So we missed a lot of the first few weeks of her life.
Wow.
And then she lived in Toronto, which is like 2.5 hour drive from us.
Right.
And just the limited amount of time, because me and my wife were on our own. We don't really have anybody we can call to just come and babysit so we can go anywhere or do anything. So I'd have my brother drive her up to Toronto, and she'd spend a day or two in the room with her and then come back and stuff like that. But it got a little better when she was moved to St. Catharines for about the last 5-6 weeks of her hospital stay. So we were able to see more frequently, because we were actually, I'd hang out, I'd take the kids shopping for a couple hours, and she'd bring one of the kids into the hospital because they were allowed to have one kid in at a time. So everybody got to meet her and stuff eventually. And then she came home, and now she's 14.5 pounds. At 6 months old.
Amazing.
Which, some people's babies are almost that size when they're born, I guess. But when you have a baby that's 2.4 pounds, fits in the palm of your hand versus 14 pounds now, I had to adjust her car seat again today for going for a picnic that we went on today. It's a big thing, and we're just so glad it all worked.
But hey, man, thank God all is well. She's a warrior, man. She's a fighter. She's beautiful, man. Thank God, brother. You want to let anybody know where they can find you on social media?
I just go on YouTube, type in e-bike Mike, and then all my videos will pop up. That's about all I do. I do have an e-bike Mike Instagram, but I got locked out of it. I think that they didn't like one of the pictures I had posted because recently nobody knows because I haven't been able to do the video. E-bike Mike has a girlfriend now, the character, obviously, because I'm married and stuff. So I have this other friend. She's a little provocative. She's an ex-stripper. So she was posting some pictures and stuff like that on our social media stuff, and we sort of got locked into our Instagram.
That'll do it. Especially fucking nowadays, man. But look, brother, man, I want to thank you, man, for coming on here. You're welcome to come back anytime. And we're definitely going to be doing this again because we still have a lot to talk about.
We totally blew the whole topic of what tonight was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Not a problem here, though, my friend. Anytime you want.
Yeah, no, hey, you know what, man? When that happens, it means that you are having a good conversation and you're in good fucking company, man. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support the show, go to the Facebook page, Rational Rage, like the page. On Instagram, rational.rage. On YouTube, look for Handsome Reaper TV. We're on there. And that's about it, guys. Thank you all for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, stay safe. Stay alert, stay alive. Rational Rage is over and out.